As far as heroes that can go from tiny form to giant form, Ant-Man's the second best one out there. That's really cool. That's really good for him. Right behind Wasp. He's a solid second place. But anyway, I wanted to do a video because as much as I give a hard time to Ant-Man, I actually do enjoy playing Ant-Man. I just, like I said, I enjoy Wasp more. But I do enjoy Ant-Man. I do think he's fun to play, and I think he's a cool hero. I feel like I get stuck in this pattern all the time of just playing Ant-Man in leadership. He's a fun leadership hero to play, and I don't know why. And I always kind of hate it because leadership starts feeling samey eventually. And unfortunately, this one doesn't feel too much different, but like a little bit different, I guess. Maybe there's some little nuances, but it's always good to go back to the basics sometimes. So maybe this will help do that. I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But anyway, we're going to be doing Ant-Man leadership. This is going to be a weird deck because it's only running 3 extra events, and that's it. And you'll see why in a little bit. But we're going to go through the deck. We're going to talk a bit about strategy. We're going to do some opening hands and closing hands. And before we go down the table, really quick, in the description will be the Marvel CDB link, so it's easier for you to see things that way. It'll be down in there. But let's go check out this deck. All right, here it is. This is a weird one. This is a weird one for me because, again, usually I play a little bit quicker pace. This is going to be a slower pace game. But here's all of Ant-Man stuff, right? We have down here. That's fine. We have a lot of allies. We are very ally heavy, and everyone but Nick Fury is an Avenger, right? So that will help with some of the stuff over here, which we'll get into in a bit. But we are going to use Ant-Man. With Ant-Man, this is Hank Pym version of it. 2/2/0, 0 cost. He gets 1 HP for each Pym counter on him. And when he enters play, place 1 Pym counter on him to a maximum of 4 for each cost you overpaid on Ant-Man Hank Pym. Then we have Stinger, who you have to be an Avenger, which we are. It does not count against your ally limit. He's a 1/1/2 hero. Squirrel Girl. After Squirrel Girl enters play, deal 1 damage to each enemy, which is good. 2/1/1, was it 2 hero? Then we have White Tiger, which honestly, you could take out one of these allies if you really want to put in like a team training if you think you need more hit points. I generally haven't because I'm getting so many in so easily, but sometimes you might need that with extra hit points. But if you wanted to, I would take out White Tiger. But as of now, I like White Tiger. I like it for especially second stage or third stage, getting that extra card draw I think is really nice and really good. I've been playing with that more. Black Knight's great for the piercing at a 3/1/2/3 stat line. Piercing is my go-to because tough is my nemesis. U.S. agent's going to help us block because he's got retaliate, which is really cool. And then our big boy is Black Panther. Black Panther is huge for us because we want to be able to get a leadership card onto him, and I want to keep him in place so we can play that leadership card, which we will talk about in a little bit. Now, we also have Nick Fury. I don't know. I like Nick Fury, I guess. I don't know. He's easy enough to play, so. All right, then we have all of our events. We can only do 1 per round. It's a 4-cost event. Each hero action, ready. Each Avenger character you control until the end of the phase. Each character gets +1/+1, which can be really good. Can be really, 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 really good. So we have all of our doubles. We also are running 3 band-togethers. Once again, you could take one of these out and put in a team training if you're worried about hit points, or if you wanted another rapid response or something like that. Feel free. Again, all these decks can be played around with. It's never set in stone. This is the only way to play it. Play with how it works for you. But generally speaking, I'm taking damage with Scott, right? Because he does have 12 hit points, or I'm using Nick Fury to block or something like that, or I can defend, so I can build out all these things, and then I can get a lot of resources with that. We also have Queen Carrier, which can be super helpful to generate a wild resource. We have an Avengers Mansion that gets extra card draw because we're going to need it, especially if we're on big form, because we only get 1, which kind of stinks. Mighty Adventures. If each of your characters has the adventure trait, which all but Nick Fury does, each ally you control gets +1/+1, which is massive card. Then we're going to have Avengers Tower, which we can increase our ally limit by 1, and then we get to reduce an Avengers ally we play by 1 this turn. Team building exercise, again, for Avengers type stuff, is going to get them in cheaper. Helicarrier is going to get cards in cheaper. You can already see what we're kind of doing. We're overkilling on this. And then finally, Rapid Response. I really have this because I want to make sure Black Panther stays around, because I want to be able to get Avengers assemble under Black Panther so that when I make that final push, I can just play it from Black Panther. Like, that's the easiest way for me to do it. But yeah, this is my deck. please note this can be modified. I with this deck, because I do play a more aggressive style in the way that I play this game, I need to get resource generators to get these Avengers out like as fast as possible, right? I'm trying to cycle through them really as quick as I can, and just push through everything. So I guess that's one of the important things to note. Like you don't necessarily need all of these, but I like working with them because sometimes they can only get a Queen Carrier, a Team Building, and Avengers Tower in, or sometimes they can only get Mansion, Helicarrier, and Rapid in, right? Like it's going to depend a lot on how your game flow is kind of going. And like I said, I play quicker than most people. I play more aggressive than most people, so I don't have time to get all this stuff in. But that's just sometimes me. So let's talk a little bit about strategy, and then we'll do some opening hands and some closing hands. All right, so with Ant-Man, we want to get his helmet in, right? His helmet's always great because it's going to let us stay on our hero side with healing, right? Anytime you change to giant form, you get to heal. If you change to tiny form, you get to draw a card. So his helmet is key. Giant strength isn't bad. That's a fine card. Risk Gauntlets is okay. I never get Risk Gauntlets to work really well, so let me know if you do. Army Advance is pretty solid to like chip away damage every now and again. His Giant Stop is good. It's a super powerful attack, which is nice. Hive Mind is really good for keeping threat down. And then Resize, I use now and again. But I use it, but like you gotta make sure you just time everything out right. But really the strategy is get allies out there early and try not to use them as chump blockers so that when you use band together, you're at least getting a double resource out of it, right? So hopefully put in another ally, hopefully a third or fourth ally. Avengers Tower out of all my supports and upgrades is huge because I do want to get a fourth ally out there. Avengers Mansion would be nice, but only if it works out. Helicarrier is nice. Queen Carrier I like more. Team Building I like a lot. Mighty Avengers is a card we're gonna want to put in when we do our final push, and then we use Avengers Assemble on top of it. The reason being is because when you get to that final push, right, and Scott has 3 attack on big Ant-Man side, let's say you had like Black Knight and Black Panther in there. So Black Panther has attack for 2, Black Knight has attack for 2, you have attack for 3. Mighty Avengers would add 1 attack to everyone, so it'd be 3, 3, 4 damage, and then you do Avengers Assemble, so you attack with everyone, and then Avengers Assemble to ready them all up, and then it would be 4, 4, 5, right? So that's now, what, 13 damage? 13 damage on the ready up. And then before that, we just did like another whatever damage. We did a lot of damage, basically. So that's kind of the rough strategy of what you're going for. It's a lot of setup, and you have to be careful of where Avengers Assemble is so you can pull in Black Panther at the right time. Black Panther, I'm only worrying about him at the end of the game. If you get him earlier on, that's fine too. But that's really the goal and the idea. We want to have 2 allies in at all times. And that's why I don't mind getting Ant-Man, Stinger, Squirrel Girl out there, or Nick Fury out there as like the easy, cheap blocker. And then we're just flipping back and forth with Ant-Man, especially with our helmet. Got to get that helmet in to heal you up because you want to take the damage, right? Generally speaking, you want to take the damage, not your allies when you play. So anyway, that's the rough idea. Let's go to the table and let's do some opening hands. All right, so here we are down the table. We got Ant-Man set up. Shuffle this up really fast. So again, we're looking for the helmet. We're looking for resource generators right away. Ant-Man's got to control the board to get some... got to control the board so we can get those resource generators and kind of get built out. If y'all have watched me play over on Twitch or here when we do live streams, I don't build out, generally speaking, but Ant-Man is one of those heroes I will build out for. So, all right, let's draw our 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And especially when we go to big form, because big form only has 4 card draw, which is rough. Okay, this is not at all what I wanted. All right, we're gonna throw away both Avengers Assemble. That does not make sense yet. White Tiger probably won't make sense. Giant Stomp won't make sense, and US Agent probably won't make sense. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. Oof. This is rough. Okay, so wow. That is a rough hand. All right, so I would probably flip up to Little Ant-Man at this point. Because we still want a larger hand size. And when we go to this form, we get to remove 1 threat from a scheme. So you get to do that if you want. So if we did that, 1, 2, that wouldn't be enough. All right, I'm going to drop 1, 2, 3, 4, because band together won't make sense. So we're going to drop 4 cards, put Nick Fury and draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I would actually then use a double, rapid, and band together generates 1 resource to play Avengers Mansion. We could thwart or attack. Nick Fury can attack or thwart. It doesn't really matter. Whatever makes sense. I probably wouldn't use Mansion yet. We get to draw 5 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now Nick would be our blocker. Get knocked out. And all right, this is rough. This is rough. Okay, so now on our turn, we use Mansion to draw a card. Then what we'll do is we would probably... All right, what we'll probably do is use a card to play Army Advance. So we can exhaust it to deal damage. I would probably change up to big form to deal 1 damage onto something. I would use Resize to draw a card, and then we get to change back to our tiny form. Okay, so I would use a double and Stinger to play Wasp. After she enters play, deal 2 damage to the enemy if you're in giant form, or 2 threat from a scheme if you're in small. And we probably do that, and I'd probably hold on to band together. We would use Ant-Man if we hadn't yet. We'd use Wasp, ready up, all that fun stuff. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I'd probably take some damage because that's fine. We're doing all right still. Our turn, I would use Avengers Mansion, get to draw a card, Pim Particles. Okay. So I would use Pim Particles while we're in Tiny and Hive Mind to play Team Building. And we get to draw a card because we're in Tiny form. Squirrel Girl, okay. And then we're going to probably exhaust this to deal damage because we are in Tiny form. Wasp could do some stuff. We'll throw away Giant Stomp, and band together generates a resource to put in Squirrel Girl, which deals 1 damage. We get to do 1 thing with her. Black Knight we'll probably hold on to. And then do whatever with this. Okay. Probably still thwart because we're still just managing the board. I would hold on to Black Knight. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, again, I would probably take the hit once more because we're still trying to get the helmet. The reason being is because now our next turn, I would do Mansion to draw a card. All right, there's the helmet. So what I would want to do is a team building. That's 1, 2, 3. I would use 3 resources. We get to draw a card because we're in Tiny. We would use 3 to put in Black Knight. So now we can get the helmet in. We just band together because we generate 3 resources. That's why it was so huge to do that before. Okay. I've taken some damage, so I would switch to Giant Form. And then in Giant Form, we get to heal 2 from our helmet, which is super nice. Then I would actually resize back down to my other form, and that would allow us to draw a card. And then draw a card from here, and then we get to also draw a card from Resize. So after you change the tiny form, draw a card. All right, so I would throw away a double and a Helicarrier to play Queen Carrier. We can exhaust this to deal another damage. They could do damage. Wasp already had probably 2 damage. We would thwart as well, and we ready up. And now we could use Squirrel Girl as a blocker. Now we're kind of like built out a bit more, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get an encounter card. This would get shuffled up. And now I would start like letting them take hits and probably start making pushes now at this point. Especially if we get another band together sometime soon. Okay. So for example, we have Squirrel Girl take the hit, let's say. Be our turn. Okay, interesting. First thing we do is Avengers Mansion to draw a card. Double, huge. Absolutely huge. I would use a double and a Risk Gauntlet to play Mighty Avengers. I think that's pretty good. And then, honestly, you can use Queen Carrier and Team Building to play our Tower, because it is an Avenger and we're an Avenger. And then I'd probably throw away Army Advance to put in Giant Strength. And at this point, we'd flip, or we'd use Tiny Ant to deal damage. I would flip up to big form. We get to do a damage. We can swing for damage now. She does extra damage because of the +1, so that's 3. He would do 3 damage as well. I think he had 1 hit point still. Actually, we get 1 more attack because of this. And now we can ready everything up just to show 1 more turn. We only get 4 cards, but oops. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have Black Knight in the play. All right, cool. So with this is a perfect example of we're kind of getting ready to go at this point. I'd probably take the hit because we just did heal up from the helmet. So now it's our turn. First we draw with Avengers Mansion. Hive Mind. Okay. What I would do is I would play Stinger. Actually, I play Stinger using, no, not using Pin Particle. I just play Stinger using team building, right? So they come in. Okay, cool. Then we can do Black Panther into play. We can exhaust him to, so he's one less. So it's one less. That's 2. And then 3, 4. Black Panther comes into play. Oh, we didn't have a leadership blue card. That's the only thing that stinks about that. So that's all right. I would probably change down to tiny form. We get to draw a card, which is Ant-Man. I would throw away both of these. We're allowed to have 4 because of Avengers Tower. We're in tiny form, so we get to draw another card, which is Giant Strength, which doesn't help, and we don't have a resource generator to use right now. We get to do Army of Ants, and now we're swinging for a bunch, right? We're swinging for a bunch. We have Giant Strength. The only thing we're kind of looking for now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is Avengers Assemble. That's the big one we're looking for. We'd have a 3 or 4 or a 3 resource generator if need be and other resources, and we probably use that and start doing our final push. So that gives you a rough idea. The first 2 rounds, 3 rounds is really where it gets really rough and you're kind of trying to figure things out. So that was some opening hands. Now let's do some closing hands. All right, let's say we're built out. Let's say we're doing our final push. We have so many options right now. So we do have Mighty Avengers, right? So everyone is an Avenger. Everyone gets +1 attack, which is really nice. We have the tower in. We have the mansion in way down the bottom here. It's hard to see. We have our helmet. We have Army of Ants. We have Queen Carrier, and we have team building, right? So we got most of our stuff in to do a lot of things. We get to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So, wow, that's stupidly strong. Okay, that's fine. So the first thing I would do is we would flip up. No, we wouldn't flip up yet. We wouldn't flip up yet. We were in tiny form. So what we'll do first is use Stinger to deal 2 damage. Mighty Avengers is what gives us Mighty Avengers is what gives us +1 attack. So Stinger does the 2 damage. This goes down to 0. Let's just say Stinger got knocked out, right? He doesn't have much life. So we're at 18 now. And then what we will do is Army of Ants to deal 1 damage. So that's 17. We will flip up to big form. Deals another damage. That's 16. I forgot to do Avengers Tower. We would do that to draw a card, which is Giant Strength, which is fine. I don't think we really would have played that. All right, so as we go up, we get to heal 2, which is cool. We're gonna play Black Panther. We're gonna use 1, 2, 3 with Avengers Tower, and throw away a card. So that's all of them. After he enters play, look for a discard card. We're gonna put Avengers Assemble onto him. And then we get to exhaust, we get to do 3 damage, right? Because this is just each ally. So we do 3, which is down to 13. Black Knight does 2 damage. 3 damage. Is that right? I think that was right. 3 damage there. If it's 11 or 10, I already messed up on the order, but that's fine. So it's going to bring it down to 8 damage. Black Panther then is going to deal 3 damage, which brings it down to 5. Then we just use both of our doubles to play Avengers Assemble. Ready each Avenger character you control into the end of the phase. Each Avenger character in play gets +1 attack. So everyone readies up. And then we now swing for 4, which brings down to 1. Black Knight swings for 3, 4, which brings down to the negatives. White Tiger swings for 4. Black Panther swings for 4. As easy as that. I mean, that's the thing. Once you get your resource generators out, and then you're just, again, I like to have 2 or 3 allies in the play so that when we use cards like Band Together, it's really just generate a ton of resource for us. But that's it. That's really the strategy with Ant-Man. It's not overly complicated or difficult. It's just in the beginning, it could be a little rough with the balancing act of you taking damage and whatever. But getting the helmet is huge because going to tiny form to draw a card or going to hero form to heal damage is absolutely monstrous. And after that, you're just getting your different resource generators. Eventually, before you make your final push, get Mighty Avengers. Black Panther should be at the very end to get Avengers Assemble on the table so you can use all your cards to play that card. All right, so that's how I play Ant-Man. Like I said, I don't hate Ant-Man by any means. I just like Wasp more. But it is a fun deck to play. Leadership's always fun to play with him. He can get pretty strong. There's some other builds you could do with Fire. Like he does work in a lot of different aspects, which is really cool. There's some really good aggression runs with him if you want to check that out on Marvel CDB. Anyway, that's how I play Ant-Man. Again, it's not the only way. It's not the best way. It's just the way that I've been playing with him recently. And if you want to see how I play a hero who's better than Ant-Man, such as Wasp, it's right here. Make sure to check it out. And if you made this far in the video, hit the like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff. And I will see you all next time.